Notes from Greenelsh, number 147. Look Up, version 2. This week in my digital art class, I'm having my students create a Notan art piece. Notan is a Japanese design concept which explores the interaction of light and dark. I hope it helps them get better at composition and the effective use of negative and positive space. The observations they make in creating their artwork apply to life also. Each of us is impacted by positive and negative people, circumstances, and opportunities. The key is how do we view them and then respond. Charles Swindoll once said, "Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it." In general, do you tend to be more positive or negative? Are you a cup half full or a cup half empty person? When people face challenges, they tend to look in a number of directions. Some people look down too much. On life's road, they fixate on the hardened path, the rocky obstacles, and the hollows. They are sad, bitter, apathetic, or depressed. They lack future vision and lose hope. They anticipate the worst and miss the redeeming aspects that a healthy response to hardship can bring. Some people look out too often. They are overly cautious and worry too much about what others think. They see risks more than they see potential. They quickly find faults in others. They blame others or make excuses rather than taking responsibility themselves. Some people look in too much. Reflecting on and analyzing one's performance can be beneficial, but those who look mainly within themselves for solutions tend to overestimate their abilities and fortitude. They assume the answer must be to strive harder or be more disciplined. Which way do you tend to look? Down, out, or in? Although each of us looks in these directions at times, you don't want to overlook. Instead, you should spend most of your time looking up. Only by looking up to God will you be able to view life and respond to life in the best way possible. As the author and sustainer of all life, God knows everything. He alone is the answer to what you face. He loves you and He wants to share with you His unsurpassed wisdom, grace, power, hope, and joy, so you become all that He designed you to be. When you find yourself looking down, lift your head. Let the Bible guide your steps. It says in Psalm 119, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path." When you are tempted to look out in fear, disdain, or accusation, let God give you His peace and the grace to treat others the way you want to be treated. When you look in, realize your humble need for God. In Psalm 139 it says, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." And then in Proverbs it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Once you start looking up to God, then you'll be ready to effectively respond to the positives and negatives in life. God is always calling you to something greater than yourself. Will you answer like Moses or like Isaiah? When God appeared to Moses in a burning bush, Moses looked down, he looked in, and he looked out. Focused on himself and his circumstances, Moses made excuses instead of looking up. In contrast, Isaiah and Samuel readily looked up and accepted God's call with willing hearts. I hope you look up to God and listen with your whole heart. Then follow through in faith with what He shows you. Note, I have another blog/podcast on looking up. You can find it on the lightrunner.org website. It's note number 54.